same time. How about that?
Wow.
Today I brought something a little bit different. I know there's not a lot of these in here that are corporate, but I've been doing a lot of corporate. And the first thing they do is they want the biggest thing that they can get, and they stagger at the price. But what you do is say something like this. You set a price that you want to spend for the month, okay? So I'll bring it, and then every week I come, or every few days, pull out what's bad, replace it with new. There's your monthly. So it kind of gives you that big bang for your buck, and it stays fresh, and it keeps my name looking good. And it gives me a chance to play a little bit, because corporate's different than, you got your little country store, you got your little, I like the Marriott stuff and all. These are for the Marriott, I got 3. And if you notice, it's either a brassiere or a butt, everybody keeps telling me, so.
I was gonna say, it looks like a booty.
Yeah, it's a booty, it's a white booty too, nice big Kim Kardashian booty.
So what was the thing that you did in my office? You took our house plants and like.
Oh, yeah.
You like magically changed them.
I still have to fix the one I'm
I
not
know.
crazy about. They were a mess, they just were never tended to. And all the rot, all the dead leaves fell in and rotted. And there were several plants in those big pots. They had to come out, the roots had to be cleaned, and then you start over. But they don't take good care of them, so.
Not since I left to go to the other office.
No, they were a mess. And each week I've been bringing something for her counter.
Yeah.
So I play with them, and but you have to play with them. It's like you can't just leave something go wild.
But they're all shiny. Did you spray something?
Oh yeah,
on
that's
them?
an oil leaf shine,
Okay.
and it does keep them healthy.
Do you have to wipe that after you spray that?
Nope.
It just dissolves?
Years ago we did, but this is it's called Leaf Glow, and it's nice oils that the plant
Just spray
likes.
it and it dissolves?
Just
whatever.
spray it on.
Where do you get, you sell it?
I do sell it, yeah. I don't really sell a lot of it. I use it, but we can sell it, yeah.
You can also use a banana peel.
But then you have to wipe each one.
No, you just don't get a lot of banana peel, but you wipe it and it's a
I never
organic
heard of
way
that.
of cleaning.
But see, then you're doing your wipe. That's it. You know, if you got 1,000 plant leaves,
There's a lot.
if you got a lot of time on
Look
your
at my
hands,
home.
that's good. But you just spray.
Mine are dirty.
Well,
I go in dust.
and the soil. There were 3 or 4 kind of soils in there.
Yeah.
So everything was switched out, and the vases were cleaned.
You ever
That one
replace
big
the
one I
soil?
still have to.
Do you ever modify or replace the
Yeah,
soil?
it's all brand new soil.
Okay.
It was. It
It gets
actually was
dead.
so
It gets
hard
dead.
that the water wouldn't go through it. It just beat it off the soil, which is not. You don't see that often.
So Charles,
We
you
plant
don't-
our plants.
You don't do a lot of plants, yours is mostly flowers.
No, I do a lot of plants
Okay.
for corporate stuff and all.
You don't sell them?
I do, but as fast as I get them, they go. And especially the peace lilies and things, they're the first thing people want for a funeral.
Okay.
And the dish gardens, but it's very difficult for me with that type of plant, because right now I have to have the air on, so cold, as you know.
Yeah, I know.
So they're not going to thrive. And if I put them outside, the sun is just going to turn them and scorch them, and they're going to go.
Right.
So all that stuff out front is all full sun. And there are 3 or 4 plants, the green ones, that are surviving, which I'm shocked. But they were dying in the shop.
Right.
And even the orchids I took out there. I just wet them every day, 3 or 4 times a day.
Right.
It's a lot of work, but that's what they like. But anything I bring in the shop right now is gonna die, because it's cold
Right.
in there, plant
I
wise.
have 2 of his plant flower combos that have been outside, except for when it got really windy. I brought the newest one you just gave me, cause it's in a basket.
The lily?
Yeah, I didn't want the basket
Yeah.
yet. But, they've been outside, all I do is water them once a day and they're loving it. I'm afraid to put any of my plants
They're
out there.
just gonna start. The one at the shop's just coming, so.
Well, we'll see.
But it's outdoor. It is an outdoor. Don't keep it indoor. And then plant it. As soon as it dies, cut it off and plant it. It'll come up.
So not only you do regular florist type stuff where you do flowers, you'll actually do corporate plants, like when they have like the little gardens up in the front by the receptionist, all that kind of, you come on in, replace them every so often because they're fluorescent lights, you're not getting any sunlight, put fresh ones in, take those, revive them,
Yep.
and bring them back.
And all the grasses, like the pods and the different things, they'll last forever. These will dry. So you just refurbish. And what started that was when I was helping a girlfriend in Kingston and she got sick and I took over the Marriott account. And every Friday we had to go in at 3 a.m. and you had until 6 a.m. to get everything set up, the flowers on their tables for lunch and dinner. And I was starting to give out my cards. She said, you do it, you're doing it, give your card. And I did them on a Friday, and Wednesday I went in, they have a cooler, and they just shove them in the cooler, break them on, and I had a function there for my brother's engagement. And when I got there, all those flowers on those tables were, so we ran back to the shop and we all fixed it. And the girl says to me, well, that's a good idea. And I said, well, why don't we just start refurbishing these instead of redoing them? Because when you're doing 45, that's a lot. But it was cheaper for them because instead of paying 45 each, they were paying 25 each and getting fresh flowers all the time. And then my name looked good when they got my card. Everything was perfect. But like I said, something like this is $150 minimum. But I would charge probably $75 for the month. And then by the time you're done your refurbishment, you've got a fresh arrangement all the time. I can take back a lot of the stuff that's in this that's gonna be permanent and reuse it in my store. The grasses, like I said, they last forever, the twigs last forever. So I can reuse them or re-rent them at any time, so it kind of works out better. And all these flowers, they're expensive, but they last a long time. People are afraid to pay $6 for a flower. That $6 flower usually is going to last you 2 or 3 weeks. So a $3, $5 rose, if you keep cutting it and you keep changing the water, it should last at least a week. But people don't put the time in, and it's just like drinking dirty water. They have to have fresh water, and and you must have, she's gonna put me out, like we used to say in Trenton, she fit to put me out of business. Because she is getting pretty good. Even where you're using what I'm giving you, she was like, she really moved out of the ballpark this time.
I let my daughter cut them once and she made them all the same length. I'm like, no! But the flowers I got from Charles that I bought last week still look, actually some of them look better than the ones that I got in my birthday bouquet from him. Some of those flowers look better than I've already
Which,
had. Them.
these, the ones from the week before?
Yep. Yep.
These are local field grown. Now I had a lady come in the other day, and I heard her say to her boyfriend or whoever, she says, oh, you can get them at the Acme.
Yeah.
So you know me. I went right up and I said, you can. I said, and then you put the local people out of business. I said, and then the Acme will be doing your wedding and your proms, and you'll be buying everything from them. I said, the bottom line is the farmers make these. And I said, they don't have these particular ones. They look like the Acme in the shop, right? But they are not, and they don't last that long. Now, sometimes the Acme ones, they do last a long time because we get them, they get them from our growers.
A lot more work.
But me, I would rather pay $2 or $3 more myself and have that farmer stay in business and have his product, because he's only got so many months of the year.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, you vote with your dollars every day, and you can afford it. But also, I bought a number of plants from the shop right away. Do not pass this. Cynthia was kind enough to mention that the plant I brought her was died in a week.
Yeah, it was gone in less than a week. It was a month.
It's hard.
Well, rather tell
And
somebody
you
not
have to
do it
understand, they
again.
do
I mean,
transplant
I'm not complaining.
or
Because I bought
transport.
some for myself and the same thing.
But if most of the plants that they get local here and those are from Florida, so they're in the truck, the hot truck.
Yeah.
The drivers, if they're going to be on a 2-day trip or so, they're not going to water them. They're going to be. Then they come into a cold atmosphere. God knows how long they sit in that box in the dark. So it's a give or take. But I got to say, when I went to the flower show first time since I was open or closed, and I said to my girlfriend came with me and I was like, Amy, I said, look, they must have been real busy because they got Acme flowers. And it was an Acme stand. And I got pissed because they were coming to me that afternoon with those
I
flowers.
got arrested that day.
Yeah.
Boy, I was hot. And I found out that they charged, just an average, if I had to pay $10, they were paying $2. Acme's paying 2. Acme's buying 100,000 of those bouquets for all their stores. I'm buying a couple of hundred, so that's the difference. But that's what's gonna kill everybody. I went to the firehouses this year to get my Easter flowers because it was cheaper for me to go there, and it was like a little donation than it was to order wholesale Easter flowers.
Which is really.
Yes, poinsettias too. You won't see a poinsettia in my store unless it's for a display because I can't compete with them.
There's
I just can't.
I don't know what farm we went to. It was a farm, I got my poinsettia, and anybody that's friends with me on Facebook saw it. It was huge. And she had a whole lot of them. And it was a local farm that sells poinsettias. And they were not outrageously priced. They were.
If you go to the farm, and the difference is, and we were talking about this last week, me and Tim, right now you go to the shop, right, you get this round, okay, 3 for $12. You all seen them, I'm sure. They don't come in a pot, they don't come in a basket or, you know, fancy basket or anything. When you get that, it's one stem with a lot of buds because they keep picking them off. And that the more you pick and deadhead, the more it will grow. If you go to a florist or a good greenhouse, it will be a single stem with a single flower. That will continue to grow forever. Ever go to your great-grandparents' house when you were kids and they had poinsettias all over? You don't see that anymore because they will not live anymore. They are not the same. The stems are the size of your finger. Those other little stems, that's why they have that wire hoop on it to stop it from flipping because it's
Too
just
thin.
for show. Yeah, it's just for show. A real poinsettia should grow like a tree. It's a single stem, and you can't kill it. If you don't water it, it'll die. But I mean, if you water it, you can't kill it.
You dump it over a deck after you're done with it.
No, you
Have it
don't.
done.
They're beautiful all year long.
I know I love them, but I was done.
You gotta take time. They're like little babies. They
An
need
$80
nurturing.
decoration, goodbye, see you later.
You can tell this man loves his flowers.
I do love it. I really do love it. Everybody comes out. I'm out front talking most of the time to
You might-
everybody. They're taking pictures and all
you might
now.
get that,
I think I'm going to be in the Princeton packet.
There you go.
The guy came by, asked me could he take pictures, and I said sure. And then he asked me to take his picture while he was standing there, and I was like sure. And he's like, you just look for me. And Trenton, I was Charlie Harper because I took over Harper's Village. So, and I used to sell. We had $9.99 a dozen roses, and we had the little drunk guy come by in the morning. I'd give him this half pint, and he'd sweep up, and he'd go and he'd take a bucket of roses. And I found out his friends, they were selling roses like crazy. And I found out one day that they were getting 20 for them, and 25 for them. But I was pumping them out, okay? And I was paying like 30 cents for these roses, so I was happy. So I said, whatever you make over and above, keep it. I was going through almost 5,000 roses a week
Oh my God.
from in Trenton, and it was all cash, and they brought me that money. I don't know what they made off of it. I didn't care as long as I got what I needed off of it. They watched my shop. They took care of everything. You know, it was always
Yeah, no
clean and swept,
vandalism, no
and
robbery.
they had their little half pint in their pocket all the time.
They also paid you crack too, didn't they?
Oh my God. Well, you know, I didn't know back in the day. Now, I'm going to tell you, from the time I was probably 18 till I was 40, I smoked pot every day. That was my thing. Even at work, I'd go in the greenhouse and my grandmother would come in and she'd say, Jesus Christ, Charles, shut the door. And, but they would come in and they would, in Trenton, it was very different. It was all cash. And there was 5s and 1s because there was a lot of drug dealers up there. So they would take their money
No.
and the little this little bag, a nickel bag, a dime bag would fall out. And they'd say, can we swap? And, yeah, sure. It was good too. Sometimes little glass bottles with hydrate. I was like, fine.
You on
So
camera.
anyway. So anyway.
delete a lot of
Oh,
this.
don't put this on my website. I'll kill you.
First, we're gonna see how good you are at editing.
But my
it to
girlfriend was a detective, and one day she came in she used to watch my dogs and all, and I watched her kids. And on the shelf there was one of those old-fashioned brandy snifters, and I didn't know what this stuff was the guy was giving me. I just kept putting them in there, and a lot of them had it. I just said, "What do you want on the card?" and took it, because these guys looked out for us. Well, it was crack rock, it was yellow rock, and I didn't know. I had like $5,000 worth of that shit on the shelf. I didn't even know what it was.
Okay, Charles, I have a question. That little stuff that you put in the envelopes, the white powder, is that?
Oh,
I-
well, you
Is
gotta
that
be
why your
careful.
flowers do so well?
Did I give it to you in a plain envelope?
Yes,
Yeah, no, I
And-
usually do that in the beginning. I don't hand them
I
out.
still have that, and I'm sure my cleaning people were questioning it until I found it.
Next time I'll give it to you in a little bottle.
Yeah, well, that's probably worse.
Yeah, it does look like
White
it.
powder.
I don't even know what that stuff is, but I'll tell you what. I won't sell something, like in the mornings, the stuff will come in and it's gotta have 4 hours of that. It'll drink it up and then you don't need it after that. So I don't give those packets out and everything because it's a one-shot
do it in
deal.
the
Once you
beginning.
change the water, if you do it the way you're supposed to and cut the stem, you're not putting it back in, so it's a one-shot deal. That does look like, yeah. Oh my God, I'm gonna hunt you down.
I gotta do a lot of editing.
You're bad.
There's sugar, it's sugar, biocide, which that kills bacteria, and acidifier, which lowers the pH in the water. That's what's in
I'm
that
gonna
stuff.
tell you the best thing to do. Years ago, they didn't have any of that stuff. If you take your vase and you put like a tablespoon of bleach, swing it around, and rinse it out 2 or 3 times, let that vase dry. That is the best thing. You won't get no bacteria. Your water will stay clear for weeks, and that's all you need. That's all we ever did when I was a child in this business.
Really?
Now everything is fancy and they want money. So, you know, I don't even know what those packets cost, but you gotta buy like 10,000 at a time. No, I buy the 50-gallon tubs and put a scoop. But that's all you have to do, a little bit of bleach. But you gotta rinse the bleach out, but keep your vase clean and you're
And
good.
one thing you might, which obviously you didn't know, if you have something in mind that you want, and you ask Charles, he can probably find it for you. Not for me, because you can find it, but, you know, everybody else probably can get their plans.
I'm still looking.
I want certain colors, I want blues,
You're just gonna pick
well, no, it's pretty.
So you can order specific plants?
Yes.
If somebody's looking for plants.
And I go, like, I'm going Heights down from here. I don't keep things, that's another thing. I don't keep, I won't sell something if it's after a few days old. And I try to buy something different. So even like, I didn't know what these things were called. I forgot, to tell you the truth.
What are they called?
They're Imuris. Thank you very much. And this is Veronica, the purple. You should like that. But I never saw Veronica like that because Veronica is the tall, spiky things, the purple.
Yeah, she is
Immuris.
spiky.
Okay. Anyway, you know what Veronica is with the little baby flowers. It's very different. But that is a crossbreed. So when I go there, I'm like, wow, this is great. I want this, I want that, but I always tell them I want something that's going to last, and I take one of each home to see. So I'll tell people. Now sometimes, like peonies, will last you 2 or 3 days. It's a great bang for your buck, but if you want a peony, you're going to have a peony for 2 days.
Right.
And that's it.
And I'm going to tell you that, and don't bring it back to me because it's just not going to last.
I just pull out the dead, and of course, the first thing that goes is the, what are those things you gotta dip?
So you're dipping.
Hydrangea.
Oh.
I didn't know hydrangeas don't drink from their stem, they drink from their petals.
I
You're
didn't know
talking
that
about-
either. On a hydrangea, if you take that stem, on the bottom, you take your knife, all right, here's your stem. You take that knife and score it and cut it halfway down the stem. So now all this is the white flesh
Yeah.
inside. That's where it drinks. That's what sucks it up. I never heard of the leaves.
I-
It's like cotton in
Our
there.
Our daughter said, oh, hydrangeas, you have to dip the tops, because,
A lot of people do that,
And
but a
I'm
lot of
like-
people have time on their hands.
of course, my first thing is, yeah, you're full of shit. Hey, Google, and it frickin' hydrangea.
It does.
I'm like, are you kidding me?
And they tell you to take a pin and
I try to
put a
find
hole
accurate information.
in the bottom. It tells you to
Mine's,
take a
uh,
pin and put a pinhole at the base of the tulip head too. I thought I'd try it.
Does it work?
I can't. Oh, sure, it worked to kill them. I had 200 of them at Easter, and every one of them was bent
the
over.
tulips?
Yeah.
Pennies.
Don't do those things.
Pennies.
Pennies keep them straight up. It makes them hard and
Do I
straight.
have to teach you everything?
If you don't use pennies, I like them bent down and crazy and all those shapes. If you want a hard, firm tulip that stands up straight, you have to put pennies in it. The
Everybody
copper
does.
makes it up.
Oh.
There's no other way to say it. So, anyway.
What's your busiest time of year besides Valentine's Day?
Mother's Day, because everybody has a mother.
Congratulations.
The graduations this year have been amazing. I hope I'm saying this, I hope they're over because they're for little 4-year-olds and these people want these big $50 things that this 4-year-old can't carry. They're 4 years old. Okay, they did it. They're great. Okay, come on. And then a girlfriend of mine wanted something different and I did them in a box, a clear box with a bow because I figured the kid could carry it. Well, then I got an order for 60 of them. And I almost fell over because the boxes are kind of flimsy, the corsage boxes. So to tie the bow on it, you have to pull it just tight enough so it won't fall when the kid holds it, but not hard enough to crush the box. And each box I had to do 2 and 3 times, and I was like ready to die. But they looked really great, and I couldn't believe how many orders I got off of it the following week. So you just got to be a bit different. But a child can't carry a bouquet that big. Come on. You ever see those girls at the prom and they want that huge thing on their arm and it's like you go with the smaller one and it's flipping all over and flopping all over and no. But yeah, I can get you anything you want.
You still hand tying all your stuff and stitching them?
I don't hand tie a whole lot. I really don't. These are pre-done. I don't touch them. All I do is pull the paper down so they get air.
Don't the corsages have to be all hand stitched?
Oh, that, yes, and they have to be hand wired. Each one has to be wired and done. I'll have to bring something in one day and show you how that is. That's why corsages are so much money. They take time. If you're paying $35 for a corsage, it probably took somebody half hour, 45 minutes because of the prep work. It takes 2 minutes to put it together and tape it. But that wiring, because if you hug somebody or touch it, the heads pop off. If the head pops off and it's wired, it's not going to go anywhere. So that's why, we didn't get a lot. Everybody wants a nosegay now. I did 2 out of about 50 pieces. I did 2 corsages on the wrist. Every girl had a nosegay, and they weren't cheap. And they came in $600, $900 dresses, and $300, $400, $500 hair. One girl's hair was $700 with a tip.
Pass my phone around to show them what you did for us.
Oh, this is that beautiful. Where did you get that from? Who did that? Oh my God, it's beautiful.
And just in comparison to.
They were very difficult. I'm going to tell you both. That's true. They take a long time because they're thin.
Yep.
And they're straight up, the base. So you can't get anything to go out. Everything wants to go up. It was hard.
Well,
But I did it, but
yeah, in comparison, yes.
That's the cup.
That's, it goes to our customers.
That's the cup that we tell everybody that our roster's going in, and every one of my install customers get that bouquet from him.
We had Charles do it before, and then when Lisa came into the group, we had Lisa do it. And the difference between what Charles does and what Lisa does, Lisa would do maybe about 5 flowers. And it would be very open air, that's just her way.
That's called selling space.
Yes, Charles makes
He
it's
gives
really beautiful. Not that hers wasn't beautiful, it was
Along
just,
with the name.
it's more,
It's earthy, like airy.
My problem is I was taught old school
yes.
and you weren't supposed to have a hole. You weren't supposed to see green. And it was supposed to be flowers. And that's what gets me a lot of the times that I get yelled at because like the funeral homes will say, he's here, bring the truck, because they can barely carry my sprays in, like yours, But that's how I was taught, and I don't want to switch up and be like everybody else now. I had to send flowers to Florida. I was in Florida and I called a florist. I was going to go there and make it, but I had to do it. For $200, they gave me 2 dozen carnations in a spray. And I was livid, but that's what they charge. Now, my grandmother or my mom or my grandfather would have beat my ass and said, that's not going out this store. So that's how I am. And I have a problem with people helping me. I always go, oh, it's beautiful, and when they go around the corner, I fill them in. But that's what people want from me, and they expect that from me, and that's what's going to keep me
Just
coming
charge
back.
accordingly.
But they were hard to make.
Last question.
So you do, funerals,
Mhm.
but you don't do weddings?
No, I do weddings.
You do weddings?
Yes, I will do weddings.
Reluctantly.
But if they bring their mother and their mother-in-law to be and their sisters, they got to have champagne and crackers before we get started, or a bourbon for me, and it's tentative because you can't get it takes weeks. I don't charge a consultation fee. These places now like charge $200 to come in for 2 hours to talk about flowers.
Right.
I don't do that because there's no need for that. You come in, show me what you want, give me the next time I see you, I already know what you want. I'm gonna tell you if I can get the flowers you need for the duck, for that month and whatever. There's none of this 5 and 6 time
Do you
bullshit.
need extra help
No,
when you
you
do a
don't. This
wedding?
is a waste of my time. If you wanna come see me 5 times, then you're gonna start paying me.
How many
You know?
people do you have on, that you could pull in to help?
Oh, 6 or 8.
Oh, okay.
Always, yeah. I could never have done Mother's Day or Valentine's Day alone.
Okay.
Yeah, friends.
At the old store, I had 5 people and 2 drivers.
Okay.
I had a young handicapped man, and he was the best driver I ever had. He had a stroke. He had bad leg, left leg, and right. That man, and if it was a holiday, he would call his family that worked at the state, and they'd take off and come help me. They would take 300-400 deliveries. My last Mother's Day, I think I had 400 deliveries, something like
Yeah,
that.
but make real
Alright.
good money.
Yeah, it was crazy money in traffic.
Real easy, quick question. When the little powder that runs out that they always come with the flowers,
That
what's
just
good to
costs
put in
you
there
$5.
when
Nothing.
Nothing?
It's just like
Cut the
We
bottom
had that
down.
conversation.
yeah, it's like a
Where were you?
flu
I know,
shot.
I
You only
didn't
need
hear
it
that.
once.
After that part.
Just one time.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Thank
thank
you.
you, Charles.